So after years of wrangling, after political hedging and outright denial, it seems that Britain is finally on the brink of introducing an EU youth mobility scheme at last. And for those of us who've long argued that the post-Brexit immigration settlement was unnecessarily restrictive, particularly for young people, this is a moment of quiet relief, though not without the predictable wailing and gnashing of teeth from certain quarters. So what exactly is on the table? Reports indicate that the UK government, under Starmer, is preparing to offer an Australian-style youth mobility scheme to the EU, and the premise is simple. Young people aged 18 to 30 from EU countries will be able to live and work in the UK for up to 3 years, and in return young Britons will have reciprocal access to the EU. The number of participants will be capped, likely around 70,000 annually, and applicants will be subject to an NHS surcharge, but will not be eligible for benefits. In a saner political climate, this scheme would be wholly uncontroversial. The UK already operates youth mobility agreements with 12 non-EU nations, including Australia, New Zealand, South Korea and Canada, and these arrangements are straightforward, economically beneficial and diplomatically constructive, and yet, when applied to Europe, the spectre of Brexit looms large. The issue of youth mobility has been a major sticking point in post-Brexit negotiations, and the EU has consistently pushed for such a scheme. And the EU at least recognises that the free movement of young workers and students fosters not just economic growth, but also cultivates deeper cultural and diplomatic ties. These younger people act as little ambassadors, and the British government bizarrely has resisted, wary of being accused, particularly by the right-wing press, of smuggling back freedom of movement through the back door. Even now, the proposal is being presented with extreme caution, couched in language designed to mollify the immigration hardliners, both in the Labour Party and in the Conservative ranks. It's capped, it involves fees, it's emphatically not an open door. Nevertheless, this move represents a significant shift in the UK's post-Brexit posture, and it acknowledges, albeit tacitly, that the hard Brexit model has been economically damaging and diplomatically isolating. I think simply to recognise that fact alone is a major positive. It also reflects a pragmatic recognition that Britain needs workers, and post-Brexit labour shortages have plagued industries ranging from hospitality to agriculture and healthcare, and if this is a way of energising some sort of positivity, some sort of talent, then that's a good thing. Employers have long warned that the rigid immigration system is starving the UK of young, mobile workers, and the youth mobility scheme will help to address these shortages, offering a lifeline to businesses struggling to fill positions. But beyond economics, the scheme is about something more fundamental. It's about encouraging opportunity. And one of the great tragedies of Brexit has been the curtailing of life choices for young people, for people in general. Before 2020, British youth had the freedom to live, work and study across 27 countries without bureaucratic hurdles, and that was ripped away overnight. And this new scheme, while limited, at least restores some of that possibility. For young Britons eager to experience life in Berlin, in Barcelona, in Bordeaux, it offers a crucial pathway. Of course, there are still obstacles ahead. The EU is unlikely to accept a deal without concessions on issues such as healthcare surcharges and tuition fees for overseas students. And there will also be pushback from conservative hardliners who will see this as another Starmer betrayal of Brexit. Already, we have the likes of Dame Priti Patel shrieking about Labour selling Britain out, but such criticisms feel increasingly stale when she sold Britain out foot, line and sinker. The Brexit culture war may rage on in certain circles, but for most Britons, especially the younger generation, it's now a relic of the past, an irritant rather than a rallying cry. In short, this scheme is overdue and eminently sensible as a correction. It's not a return to pre-Brexit freedom of movement, nor is it a first step towards rejoining the EU, sadly. It's simply a recognition that Britain and Europe remain deeply intertwined, and that young people should not be collateral damage in a political project that was, let's be honest, never about their interests in the first place. So, as the negotiations unfold, I hope pragmatism prevails, because for young people in Britain, for the country as a whole, the scheme is not just a good idea, it's a necessary idea.